Hello YouTube, my name is Kangov and we're back with another interview video. Today I talked to various creators who have played on multiple Minecraft SMPs to help you get an idea of what makes a good SMP, what makes a bad SMP, and what should you do if you're applying to an SMP. What makes you enjoy playing on SMPs? Is it better than playing solo Minecraft?
I think that the best thing when it comes to playing on SMPs, definitely I enjoy when my friends are on it. I have more of a small group now, but anytime I see them in SMPs, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I know them. It's definitely the friend experience. Being able to build houses with people, being able to live with people online. That's fun. That's a fun experience. Would I say it's better than solo Minecraft? Honestly, yeah. Solo Minecraft can get really boring. It's not like I'm saying that there's a problem with people who enjoy solo more than not, because people got their preferences. I just prefer SMPs to solo, because I build my stuff and then what? Who am I gonna show it to?
I'm so much more willing to commit time to a build if I know other people are going to look at it.
Exactly. You get it. And I shake your hand, we're bros now. But usually a lot of the times when I hear about Minecraft, it's people getting into Minecraft because their friends are into Minecraft. But people who haven't experienced SMPs, they should definitely try it. Definitely. I would recommend it. It's fun.
I think for me personally, it's better to play on an SMP. I think though it really depends with chat interactions at times though, because sometimes when chat's interacting with you while you're doing it alone, like a little solo world, it's less overstimulating. While at times SMPs can be very overstimulating, especially when someone's in one place. But I do think I really enjoy SMPs a lot more just because the community and friends you can build from it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in servers with voice chat, trying to hear what everyone's saying and also pay attention to your chat can get overwhelming.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it.
I think what makes me enjoy being on SMP would have to be it's just the community and how single player doesn't have that interactive feel between players where obviously SMPs have, because I like to be able to bully my friends a little bit and also have that person distract me so I'm not just sitting there and building for 9 hours. It helps with breaking up big projects that you would otherwise basically just go and do completely within a day. It's the community and the fact that literally anyone could just walk over and just interrupt you and you just have a chat and goof off.
To do something you enjoy with the building, but sort of have forced breaks.
Yeah. I actually started a new series called Hardcore Not So Solo, and it's really good because I bring in people to help break up the monotony of just doing things.
What makes me enjoy playing SMPs for the most part, it's definitely the roster, it's definitely the people. If I am playing on a server, it's because I want to have fun and create something with the people that I'm on the SMP with. If I don't have anyone that I can say, oh yeah, no, I enjoy hanging out with this person, I will probably just prefer to be on solo Minecraft, because solo Minecraft doesn't drain my energy. I don't need to be thinking about talking to other people. Each has its own place. So for example, solo Minecraft is when you're low energy and you just want to be by yourself, or do this very specific thing that you would probably won't be able to do on a server. But a server is just a different experience altogether, you know?
I completely understand that it can be really draining when you have to be around a bunch of strangers.
You know, when we are entertaining, it's hard to just be entertaining and match the vibe and the bits with other people, because not everyone has the exact same way of being entertaining. So for example, some people are more laid back and some of us are more very always blah, 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 and some other people are more aggressive in their in their bits.
An SMP is usually better, I feel, for a multiplayer aspect, playing with your friends. Most games offer that, but with Minecraft's building, Minecraft's exploration, it's just it's up to the viewer's discretion. Playing with your friends feels so much better. Now, as for if it's better than solo, I would have to say it is better in some aspects. Playing with your friends is fun and whatnot, but after a while, one person gets bored and then the other people get bored and then you just kind of all stop playing. However, with solo playing, hardcore or survival or whatnot, when you stay in it, you stay in it for a longer period because there's not a bunch of other people, oh, let's have this, let's do this, let's set up a time to play this because you're busy or I'm busy, and it's just more of what you want to do, which then leads players to play more often, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I get what you mean. There's different aspects of both that are good.
I think it's absolutely better than solo Minecraft. For me, I think the appeal is just kind of like a multiplayer server in an open world. Playing solo Minecraft, as fun as it is, like you could customize it with mods or whatever, like everything an SMP has, but what solo Minecraft doesn't have is other people, so I think the world tends to feel very desolate. But I like SMPs a lot, personally, because I get to play with Major and we don't have to pay for a server.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. I just prefer having other people on there. Like Aaron said, it's less desolate. I feel very alone when I play Minecraft by myself because I'm alone.
Yeah.
And it also, joining SMPs the way they are now, it's like we get to meet a lot of other people that we wouldn't really interact with otherwise. And we get to start a friendship already with a shared interest.
Yeah. And it's also great networking because a lot of SMPs tend to be like smaller streamer run. In that way, like we could be like mutuals on Twitter all day long and like Twitter communities or like whatever small streamers doing. But SMPs, I think, are kind of just the main way that small streamers are able to like get together and like support each other and like make content in a way that's reliable and I think pretty easy and low stakes.
Yeah, the networking aspect is definitely really good because small streamers always want to support each other and it just gives you that in kind of, especially with like when we joined Jinkies, it was kind of already established, but everybody was very open to supporting the new other people, so that's really
Yeah.
cool.
It's a great way to meet new people, but it's a way to meet new people where you can bring a buddy.
Oh my gosh, yes. I get so bored sometimes being on my own. Like sometimes I don't talk to anybody and I just get my things done, but sometimes you just want to play Minecraft with your friends. And I feel like I met so many cool people from being on SMPs that I wouldn't have met if I was playing Minecraft on my own. And I get bored. I like hanging out with people. Like I like not having to just like be like, okay, like let's beat Minecraft, let's go to the end and that be it. Which is how I feel like my solo worlds were always like, and then I never would complete them. Whereas I feel like on an SMP, you're able to like hang out with other people and they'll be like, oh, I need to go and do this, and you're able to help them and do your own thing. You know what I mean?
It's nice because you can sort of, in a way, get the solo experience from an SMP if you want to, or
Yeah.
you can play with friends.
Exactly. And you meet so many cool people as well.
I would say, first of all, 100% it's better than solo Minecraft. I always have trouble, like, playing solo Minecraft unless I'm, like, streaming or doing something, because I feel like it's just ends up kind of being boring. I love having other people there. The community factor of SMPs is so important to me. Finding new friends while creating content, while just being silly, like I feel like in a solo world, it's more goal-based, or like you're always, doing the next thing. And in SMPs, I find whenever I try to achieve a goal, it takes a lot longer because I end up, messing around half the time, which, is just much more fun in my opinion. I think it's also cool to have the aspect where everyone is like lifting each other up. I'm really bad at a lot of things in Minecraft, but when I play, I've found when I play SMPs, I've found that there's people that are good at redstone or good at farms that will help me out, and I can buy from them or whatnot. That just doesn't happen in solo. I have to do it all myself. Like, we can't lift each other up with our different strengths and stuff. Like, I think SMPs really highlight that part of Minecraft.
Definitely. You learn so much because of that. Like, I never would have taken the time to learn redstone if it weren't for servers, because like, what do I need a hidden door for on a solo world? Right?
Yeah. I think you push yourself a lot more.
What do you think most SMPs should have or do more often?
Background checks. And that is an experience that I'm pretty sure most people who've been in SMPs can relate to. The amount of SMPs I've been in and the amount of people I've experienced and or met to then later on find out that they've done some questionable things is more than I can count, which should be surprising, but it is not. Honestly, I respect people who run SMPs because that is a lot of work, and not everyone can go through every single application for like possible members coming in, you know? But that is definitely the one thing I think that SMPs should do more often, which is have background checks on the people that are possibly going to be members. Even if it's like just kind of a skim through, it's better than nothing, you know?
Yeah, sometimes if a person on a server gets called out for something, you go look at their socials and you're like, holy cow, how did the owner miss this?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the times it's literally just that there are times where they just don't have the time to do background checks, and that's understandable. I don't run servers for a reason. That is like, it is so much work to run a server and then figure out who you're going to put on the server and then all that stuff. Of course, there might be like a slip here or two, you know? You're not going to get like everything perfectly, but I definitely do think that background checks should be done more often. And also keep inventory, because I don't want to keep dying and having to go back every single time I die. Keep inventory is fun. Please. It's the one thing I beg. I beg you, please.
Blazing K's mod packs is the key to my heart and the key to any SMP to get me to join them, honestly. What Blazing K's is, it's a mod pack that adds about 1,000 achievements to the game. So for me, I often really think that SMPs should have like a mission or something. Like if they're not doing like side lore or anything, if they don't have like one big goal, then I think it'd be smart to like implement something that like requires a ton of skill like that, to where players aren't just wondering what they're doing. Like I know for Overtime SMP, something that FD owns and I co-host, FD is Fatty Daddy, it's something that we did was we made like a little shopping district to where everyone can like make their own shops to basically promote a certain item, so they have items to help build structures that they want to build. And we've done like a little mayor election as well, and we'll be doing some further stuff in the future just to keep the players interested and people like viewers interested as well.
Yeah, I think that's also important on SMPs to have that sort of, here's something that you will not complete week one. You can keep playing.
Of course, it's kind of hard at times. We're trying to make it to where like everyone can be included. It's like multiple different sections of it. So I think what we're going to do we have like another wave coming in. I think what we're going to do for the wave is that we're going to have like multiple times where like the mayor is like showing people around the server and everyone's kind of agreeing with each other. And I know we're going to try to make it to where there's more Australians, because I know kind of the Australian population of the server is struggling a tad at the moment.
Maybe like plan a couple more events. Like I used to run a couple of servers, so I understand how hard it is for them to plan a good time for everyone to join and like all of these other things. And I'm not saying this is on the server owners themselves, because I think this is something that needs to be a member and like owner interactive situation where they kind of plan together events and maybe impromptu like, you know, meetups and stuff. I think they should have just like either specific days that they come on and join. Some servers I'm on, we have like we call it like Mafia Monday, because it's like mafia themed as a server. So we kind of just all join on Monday and we all goof off and do what we need, like, you know, do all our stuff on that day. And I think there needs to be more of a mentality of like trying to get people on together, because like it's really hard. I know as like a player, when you like look on the thing and see there's only like one person on. So I think having just like a day where either the server just kind of gets on and tries to like be there, be themselves, you know, have fun. I think that's something that should happen a bit more often.
Yeah, definitely. The whole point of multiplayer is playing with multiple people, so it can be discouraging if no one's
Yeah.
on or it's like the same 3 people. I like that, having the 1 day a week everyone shows up when they can.
Activity checks. I think activity checks, events. I also really like when SMPs have some sort of lore, but obviously that doesn't have like that depends on how you're running your server. But if we're talking like casual SMPs with maybe a theme like, I don't know, Cobblemon, or maybe, I don't know, like whatever the theme of your SMP is, I think activity checks are super important because I've seen so many servers die because people just don't log on and the owners are rarely present. Yeah, we're gonna send an announcement once a month, and maybe like once every 3 months I'm gonna check if you're alive or not, and that's about it. You know, I think it's really important, and like half of server success, it's the owner and the admin team and how they handle trying to keep it fresh, you know?
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean. It's hard to want to be active in a server if the owner themselves isn't there.
Yeah, because why should I care about what you care about if you're not showing me your own efforts, you know? Like,
Mhm.
why should I create content in this place if you do not seem to care about it as much as I do?
That sort of goes back to your first answer, where if no one else is there and the owner doesn't even care, you might as well start up a solo world.
Exactly. Like, what's the point of me being on a server with multiple players if there's no players?
I would have to say events. Like, even if it's just small events, like a small challenge to pit people up against each other, like a team thing, I feel like that there's a lot more interactability. It's just, it grabs your attention. It's like, oh, well, I can play this and do my personal goals, or I can team up with a friend and play, next Saturday in a tic-tac-toe match or something like that. Just small events in the actual SMP that just helps people stay more in tune.
I completely agree with that. I love having goals outside of just the normal Minecraft goals, especially because then it's like you could do that on any SMP if your only goals are the built-in Minecraft ones.
It should all be Major and Arid all day, every day. I'm of the opinion that maybe not a lot of SMPs, but more SMPs should be invite only or like have a less amount of members, simply because that allows, like, as I've been an SMP owner in the past, it allows you to like vet people who join a lot better, because with applications you get a lot of like random people applying a lot of the time,
Yeah.
like people who just want to play Minecraft with a bunch of other people, and like I support that 100%, but
And there's like a place for that.
yeah, for sure. But it allows you to like properly vet members and make sure, like, is this person a good person? Being invite only, it's only people that you want to have on there. It's also, I feel like for lore SMPs specifically, it allows the lore to be more involved, I guess, because you get to like collectively write a story with less people, and it allows the SMP to feel more like a close-knit group of friends rather than just a bunch of randos thrown on a server together. With a lot of big SMPs, that allows for a lot more inactivity and like a lot of technical requirements that not everybody is going to have.
Yeah, I also think having an invite-only server kind of allows you to, kind of what you say, cultivate a group of friends rather than just a group of creators. People will apply saying whatever they think will get them accepted or garner whatever response they want to garner. So I think having more invite-only SMPs kind of guarantees, or at least gives more opportunity for a better group chemistry. I've joined a fair share of SMPs in my day. A lot of them, when they're application-based, they tend to feel like kind of, I think, cliquey. After a while, like, there's that group of people that kind of like know each other from somewhere, and so they've all been accepted, and so they're all having fun together. But then there's kind of like random people that joined, or the people that got accepted for variety, or like because they sounded cool but they don't really talk. Like I just think invite only it gives the SMP a better chance to thrive and kind of be entertaining and welcoming.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. Applications are great because you want to give new people a chance, but it's almost better to get to know the new people and then invite them.
This is something that you do. and I like that you do it, but not many other SMPs do it, which is you don't just do in-game events. You do like the outside ones, and I think more SMPs need to do that, where it's like, hey, we can do this on the server, but we also have this going on, like the watch-alongs. I love that we have that because it means that if somebody can't get on the server for whatever reason, they still can join and hang out, and you can still vibe with all the people who are on the SMP, but it's just not on Minecraft.
Yeah.
And I think more SMPs need something like that, where it's like, you still get to hang out with all these cool people, but if you're not able to get on Minecraft and you can only join Discord from your phone, you're still able to hang out with them.
That's sort of exactly why I do it, because sometimes, you know, you're on vacation, so you don't have a PC, but you still have a phone you could join in. Or maybe when the server starts, you're like, hey, I'm not going to have my PC for the first week, but you still want to get to know people. That's exactly why I do those things.
I think the first thing is, like, I love when a lot of SMPs do this a lot, but I love when they have events, and I love when they have like little creative things that they've found, or like they add in, where it's like, you know, it doesn't always have to be lore, just even like something where it's like, oh, let's all get on at this time and do this random thing. Like, I think that encourages a lot more people to like step out of their shell too and like meet people again, because I find like the first day of an SMP, everyone's like just shows up, meets each other, sometimes goes into their little groups, and it's not always mixing as much. But I really like that event type thing. Other than that, I think SMPs like should always have like either mods or plugins and stuff. Even just little things like the sit plugin or the status mod, like those ones. If I can sit and I can set my status as live or recording or whatever, those are the two things I always want on like an SMP. It's like always necessary in my mind. Something with pronouns too. I always find that really helpful to just know people, you know, what pronouns everyone has. Just talking to them and has a reminder. I don't see a lot of SMPs do like off SMP game nights. Stuff that encourages people, and I know that sounds counterintuitive because it's like, oh, let's all stay off the SMP and do something else, but I think it kind of helps bond people more, like playing a different game or a different thing, like even, you know, Jackbox or Gartic or anything, kind of easy to put together, and you know, I feel like in my mind it pushes people closer because they're playing something different and, you know, getting to know each other through another realm of stuff.
A lot of server owners feel like they have to have an actual full-on event to get a bunch of people on.
Yeah.
You can just say, hey, me and Bozo number 2 over here are logging on at 4 p.m. Who's joining? If it's on a server, especially a server with content creators, most people are willing to just hop on Minecraft. You don't have to be fighting the dragon every time.
Yeah. And I think it helps because, like, you know, sometimes I'm Australian, so time zones get really weird a lot of the time, and like I always want to make sure there's someone on the, like, it sometimes feels useless joining the SMP unless there's someone online. So even if like someone is like, yeah, just everyone, we're gonna play at this time, like if you can please hop on, like that would make me feel like I try so hard to like move stuff around to be able to make it that time, because that would make me go, okay, I know people are going to be there, like, you know, it'll be really fun and it'll be an enjoyable time. It's always difficult as an Australian, I think. Like, I'm always trying to like balance waking up at a decent time and trying to hang out with like people from America and other places in the world. That's one thing I definitely would love more SMPs to do. Like, even just if you add someone who's like, you know, from a certain place too, like maybe try and, if someone's from Oceania, like try and add another Ocean. Like, I just need one buddy. I just need one buddy where like I can log on later and they might be on, and like, you know, because yeah, otherwise I'm changing my sleeping schedule constantly, which, you know, I don't mind, I get it, but yeah, I would love that.
What do you think most SMPs should have or do less often?
I'm not gonna lie, lore. And I say that because I feel like most people nowadays there's so many themes when it comes to different Minecraft SMPs. I love a themed SMP. It is my favorite thing ever. But I think there should be SMPs that do less lore based, because a lot of the times when you do a lot of lore or you want to implement an SMP that has lore, there's so much planning that you have to do, and you have to see who you want to do your lore with, and then you have to schedule like when you're going to do the lore. One thing I will say is I can give props to some of the lore servers that I was on, because one of them specifically was just lore. It was not really much of like hanging out or anything, but it was specifically lore, and we had everything scheduled, and we always knew when we were supposed to do it, so there was no big issue. But with like other SMPs, if you don't make it exactly lore based, then there's going to be a lot of issues that come up with people. Then sometimes it turns into this whole thing where, oh, this person can't do lore that day, but they promised me that they would do lore, and now they're changing the lore, or stuff like that. And I think, honestly, there should be more SMPs where it's less lore based and just overall, just a regular SMP where it's fun with mods and stuff like that. I think there should be less lore. That's what I think.
Yeah, I personally prefer non-lore servers, like by far.
Oh, yeah.
With lore servers, it needs to be a smaller group of people who are fully committed to doing the lore and like communicating and showing up. And that's difficult because time zones and real life stuff being more important than Minecraft. But exactly. I completely agree with you, yeah.
I got a real life job. I go outside often, and I cannot keep up with every single lore thing that happens on an SMP that I'm on. At this point, I just tend to stick to the background, so like,
yeah,
I don't bother anyone when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm in one lore server where every time you do lore, no matter how small or how short, you are required to put a recap in the Discord, and it's like a blessing because I would have no idea what was happening otherwise.
That's a good idea, honestly. You know what? Back to the question before this one. They should do more of that. There's lore recaps, please, but less of also lore. Do less lore. Lore, less headache. That's what I think.
People should make sure, I guess this is really just for owners, is just make sure that everyone vibes together. So like if you have like half extremely loud people, half like really quiet people, at times it can't mix well because quieter people do get overstimulated pretty easily. And then once everyone's like in one place, it can just get a mess. Just really I don't think that people do it very often. Of course, this is my first time kind of owning an SMP, so I'm kind of very, like, a lot more strict on it. But making sure that kind of everybody is fine with people before they hop on, I think is the biggest thing that sometimes owners don't do. I think at times there's situations where owners don't do background checks that I think SMP need to do more often. They should like kind of let not as many people on if like they don't know anything about them. Like if they just have a vouch from a person and they're like, oh yeah, sure they can get in, and the person doesn't know like anything about them, it turns out they're controversial. I don't think that people should let them in due to just a small vouch. I think that people should do much more of a background check. Like once again, hi, I own an SMP. It was to where I was the one kind of in charge of that. After, I of course do like checks together, but it would be like where I checked a bunch of people beforehand. So like I checked their age, me and FD checked their Twitter feeds together, I checked their Twitch, I checked their background, like I looked up their name and like doc after it, just like if there was any Google Docs about them, if they had like beef with any person. I think it's very people shouldn't as often let people in who they don't know any information about, like if there's not any information on the person unless like, and if a person doesn't vouch about them. I worded it kind of confusingly, but I'm hoping I got my point across, I guess.
Just because someone can fill out an application does not mean that they're actually going to be a good fit for your SMP.
100%.
And it's so easy to lie on applications. Most people wouldn't, but there's some people who are just like, oh, I'll just omit this little bit so I'm more likely to get in.
I will say at times people do, of course, like try to push it a little bit because I admit I have also done this as well. To where they're like, how many times will you stream on this? And it's like I know a lot of us be like, oh yeah, it's like 3 or like 4 times if I'm streaming this per week. But unfortunately, stuff just gets in the way towards like I can't stream on it that much anymore.
Yeah, that's a rough one. On my SMP personally, I don't do the how often are you going to stream on it? And some of the most active members are people who don't stream at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really such a toss up when it comes to activity.
100%. It's just like at that point where it's like, are you gonna do activity checks or are you not gonna do activity checks? When is like the line?
I've run servers, so I'm a little bit guilty on the like this, but I think servers should do less just open applications. And I know it's like a little bit of a like a controversial topic because like sometimes it is really hard to get those people. I do think that kind of inviting your friend group first and then like slowly adding people along like isn't the worst idea because it's really hard to vet people over the internet. You don't know how they react off camera. You don't know how they are, and so I think SMPs, if they do, like do these open applications, try to like vet them, meet them outside of the server, try to like get the vibe of the person and how they're gonna vibe with the people. Open applications can be such a risky thing, and I think I personally like to see less of that, if that makes any sense, because it's just easier to get like a group of people that you already know is going to be lovely and awesome, because like networking is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I agree. I love the idea of starting with a group of friends first, like you said, because that way you sort of get the vibe of the server, but also people outside of it know the vibe, so they're less likely to apply or try to join if they're like, whoa, yeah, I don't like whatever they have going on. Whereas if you do public applications before the server's even opened, you're sort of bound to get people who clash.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is that like when you have those open applications, you kind of get a mix of different vibes, which isn't necessarily bad, but sometimes it does get in the way of the player experience, where you have PvPers basically fighting builders who are trying to just do what they want to do. And then like it's just, there's a lot of complications that happens with open applications, and I understand like it is really hard to like not do it as well, if that makes any sense. Like not have open applications, because you want to let these people in who don't have those easy opportunities to join these like fun events and servers. But it's just there are those moments where you invite these different clashing groups, and sometimes it just can't be helped, to be fair. I'm a big go through your whole social media person. So if somebody links their social media and I go through it and it's completely clean, there's nothing NSFW on their main account or anything specific, I'll be like, okay, this guy's account is clean. I can normally gauge a little bit better if I go through the whole account, how like this person is, because it's like, oh, this person has like a bunch of art, or oh, this person likes AI. I don't, like it maybe a little bit more like risky about them.
Yeah, not quite what we're looking for. Yeah, I agree. It is difficult to background check sometimes, but as much as you can is probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's the as much as you could possibly can is.
Ooh, I think that's a really interesting question. Inviting a lot of people that you don't know are gonna have good chemistry, I think it's really important, especially when an SMP is starting and you don't have any prior, coverage. For example, of course, there's like big established server that keeps spanning through years and they have constant new cast, and there is some of those servers. I think SMPs in general should have a good starting cast, like people who have good chemistry together and will be active, and you need to pay attention to who you're inviting, because if you invite 100 players and like 2 show up, That's not good. I prefer smaller casts in general. Like when I'm on servers, personally, I prefer to have less than, I don't know, 50 people. Just because I think it allows. Also, less often, I do think it's really important for servers to stop allowing players to just build outside of a town, because I think when people like, because again, the point of server multiplayers is to be able to interact with other people and be a multiplayer with multiple players talking together. If not, I could start my own solo world. I could have my own server. I could do whatever the hell I wanted. So I think I don't like when servers have like such a spread out cast. And even though there is a spawn, obviously, if people don't settle near spawn, there's no need for them to talk at all or do stuff together. So yeah, I personally prefer wherein SMPs and SMP owners are like, yeah, okay, so you have the range to build around, I don't know, a thousand blocks around spawn. And it forces the people to just make a little town together and actually interact and build community. Because it's hard to break the ice with other people when you don't know them. Forced proximity, as much as it sounds weird, it really works. It's really helpful.
My opinion will sound a little harsh. I would say SMPs should not open as much as there is. You know, there's a lot of SMPs out there, and you know, some of them are good, but other of them are just kind of just out there for, you know, oh, the owner just kind of wanted to post one out there and it just dies. There's really no point. Like, they have no end goal. They have no milestones. They have no nothing to put into that SMP. So it just kind of dies out. There's a quote that I actually have been using a lot recently. Too many cooks spoil the broth. You know, pretty much means if there's so much of one thing, then it just kind of saturates the market and people just kind of fall out of it. Why play one SMP when there's, you know, 200,000 in total that are out and ready to, you know, have an extra applicant? It just kind of ruins everything. If there was a little bit less, then maybe that would sound good. But that's, again, my opinion. Other people will say other things, and I agree with them.
Yeah, it's sort of a matter of, if you're going to open an SMP, it needs to be unique. It's impossible to be completely original, but it has to be different enough from all the other SMPs that it's not going to just get a bunch of people who play a couple times and leave.
You should answer while I think about it.
Let him think. I think having a crazy mod list, like with like 200 or 300 mods, is absolutely unnecessary most of the
Yeah,
time.
let's have less mods. 2025.
I think that there are a few mods that like you can't play Minecraft without, like, just to make the game more entertaining and like easier from a player perspective. But I think that like there's some SMPs that have like 200 to 300 mods, and that just, like I said, absolutely unnecessary. It allows for so many technical difficulties and like just stuff not interacting correctly, crashes, stuff like that. And I don't think that you need that many to make the game fun, especially like, this is a Reaper SMP call out. The horror mods where they just add like a bunch of
Yeah.
horror mods that make the game really scary and almost unplayable. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a scared little boy. I don't like, I don't want to be scared to leave my house. I feel like Minecraft is already really scary, and throwing in a bunch of horror mods on top of it is just like a surefire way for me to die 6 million times and then lose all my stuff.
Yeah, at some point it just gets impossible to want to play because it becomes such a drag.
I personally, when it comes to servers, I'm fine with lots of mods, but I don't want to open the game and go, are you sure this is Minecraft?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Still, you can probably tell from Jinkies, we have over 100 mods, but you log on, you're like, mods? Where? That is the kind of Minecraft I like, so I completely understand what you're saying. Like, when there's 300 mods and half of them don't work anyways, that's too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
You're just making it not Minecraft anymore at that point. Like, you can just play a different
Yeah.
game.
There was a lot of SMPs that I would join, and it was like, this is a limited time, and there's loads of lore, and you join, and then it's like, you have like a week to learn all the lore. You're then only on the server for a couple months, and then you get kicked. I don't know why that was ever a thing. Like, I feel like if you have applied and got into an SMP, why is it time restricted? I know why some servers are, but I didn't like that. And I know there's a few SMPs that do that. And especially the whole the ones where it's like lore and you join and it's like, oh, by the way, we have this massive lore event in a week.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've only just joined, and you're expected to learn all of that. And I think we need to start realizing that that's a very short amount of time.
Yeah, adding new people to a lore SMP right before a lore event without warning them, not ideal.
Yeah, before I got onto elementals, I didn't look into SMPs before I applied to them. I just applied because I wanted to get to know people. And then they'd be like, oh, by the way, it includes, and then I'd go and look into them and it'd be like, it includes this, and I'm sat there and I'm like, how? Like, that was never on the application, and if anybody was doing what I was doing, which was just applying because I want to get to know people, you would have no idea that you'd signed up for this, which was my fault, not theirs. I should have looked into them. And then I looked into the elementals, and then I got in anyway, so...
Yeah, I think this sort of applies to them more often than less often, but I think when people add a new wave of members to a lore server, the first thing that happens should be an event to introduce those people to the lore, instead of expecting them to scroll back through months worth of, lore recaps and learn everything.
Yeah. Or not even just the lore ones, but like, again, Jinkies does it really well. I'm just going to keep bigging you up in this interview, but Jinkies does it really well where you, within like the first, I think it was like the first month, every single time there's been new members, there's always like a watch along or an event of some kind so that they're then able to meet us all. And I really like that. I think Jinkies is the only SMP, maybe I shouldn't say that, one of the only ones I can think of right now where I have met so many new people within the first couple days, because there was an event that meant we were able to sit in a VC and chat and get to know everybody. And I think that's needed on more SMPs.
I feel like rush themselves. SMPs and SMP owners, I notice a lot of the time they like rush themselves, or even players, like both in the like preparation stage and like the actual SMP. I feel like people are like speed running the game constantly, and it's like, you can just slow down. Like we were talking about earlier, you just got to give yourself time to like be silly, be interrupted with the whimsy and the the laughter. Just have some time to just chat. Don't feel like you need to get netherite in the first day or whatnot. But like also as server owners, take your time. This is your baby. Like, take your time to make the server. Like, don't feel like as soon as you talk about it, it has to be out the next week. Like, test things. And I've just run into a lot of servers where I feel like that doesn't happen, and there ends up being like bugs or whatnot, and it just makes the server like always awkward, because it's like, oh, we've got to fix this thing, and it's like, just try and test things beforehand. I think don't feel like you need to have everything sorted as soon as you talk about it on Twitter. I don't know. I know that there's always going to be bugs and stuff. Like, trust me, I understand it's rough, but if you can spend some time making the server, I think that's really important. I haven't made an SMP before, not like a proper SMP, but if I was going to like make one, I would think of all my friends first, and I feel like there's a big temptation to like just accept your friends into an SMP, but I also think that like meeting new people is so fun and so cool, and like try and introduce fresh faces, like people you haven't met, haven't really seen around, try and what kind of connections you can make with people, because you'll never know if one of those people is going to be someone you're just going to absolutely adore, and you're going to be like, yes.
I almost feel like the ideal situation is combining those two answers, is invite your friends first, do the testing and stuff with them where they're going to be honest with you and say, hey, this is broken. And then you invite in the new people to a server that's more fleshed out and ready for a big group.
Yeah. The little beta zone, and then you're like, okay, now we can release this properly, and now we actually have people tweeting, sending one tweet being like, I'm gonna make this server, and then the next day the server has applications out, and like then it's just like speed running every step. SMPs, I feel like, really stick to their branding of being like the next like, I don't know, Hermitcraft, Parkour Civilization, the next Dream SMP, and it's like, you don't need to be the next one of those. I don't know, like, I want you to be yourself. I just want to see your own project, your own thing. Like, you don't have to, you know. I do get though that sometimes it's like, oh, I'll compare myself to this because that's sort of what's closest to the project and the algorithm and all that. Like, you know, I
Yeah.
get it. You know, yeah, trying to get social media attention, which I guess I do understand. Like, yeah, it's rough. I could not do what a lot of the SMPs do to, you know, constantly push themselves out there. It's really impressive to see.
Why do you think so many SMPs become inactive so quickly or lose members so quickly?
I believe most people tend to have outside IRL stuff that they gotta do. People got jobs, people have things. Like, not everyone's schedule matches up. And I think that's one of the main reasons why servers become inactive, because people got things to do, and then when people don't see other people online, then they don't want to join. So it's a lot of well, this person hasn't been online in a while, so why should I also play on the server? Or I'm trying to play on the server more, but I'm just extremely busy in my IRL. And it just, like, it tends to be kind of like discouraging, you know, when you want to play on a server that no one's on, because when no one's on, who are you going to show things to? Who are you going to have fun with? It's just a lot of, you don't see people online because they're busy. That's just how life is. A lot of the times people are too busy to be playing on Minecraft servers, and that's fine, you know? But I think that is one of like the main reasons why not a lot of people, it causes inactivity so quickly, because people got things to do. They can't be spending all their time on a Minecraft server. There could be people that have medical issues, things like that. I know, like, a lot of the times when people leave an SMP, it's either due to that inactivity of not seeing people online and things like that, or it could also be, oh, a member got outed as a weirdo and things like that, and then people don't want to play on the server because, oh, very awkward situation happened on the server, you know? Like, the amount of servers where someone has been outed as a weirdo and then people stopped going onto the server overall because they're probably still on the server or not, depending. There's a lot of reasons, I feel, why people leave SMPs and people being inactive happen, you know? But I think the main reasons for that overall, just in my opinion, is people are busy, people don't see other people online, and people can get outed as weirdos and they don't want to get back on it.
Yeah, that definitely connects to your first answer when you said that one of your favorite things about SMPs is playing with other people and showing other people stuff.
Exactly.
It's, yeah, if there's no one on, I know there's a server I'm in where there's only one person in the Australian time zone, and they're always like, hey, how's everyone doing? As everyone else is asleep.
Time zones suck too. That's another thing. Time zone. I'm lucky that, like, I usually wake up and or am still awake when my Australian buddies are awake. A lot of the times I go to sleep early, or like something happens and I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, can't hang out today, and they're all the way in Australia. Like, what am I supposed to do?
I think that's another thing some owners don't take into account is
Yes.
checking in on people's time zones, which can be a little weird because you don't want to be like, hey, so where do you live?
Yeah.
But it's nice to have members, at least 2 members from time zones, like not just getting one person in that time zone and then
Yeah.
they're left out.
I think just mainly just because people don't have a plan. I think overall a lot of people are like, oh yeah, we are going to make an SMP, and they don't really have a plan for it. It's kind of like I mentioned, like the shopping district. I'm like, okay guys, we are gonna have a goal for the first part, and that is a shop. Everyone can like have a little shop if they want to, and I think it's just because the group of people. I think I would say like my group of people, like the category of Twitch I'm on is the event space for Minecraft. It is very easy for us to become inactive due to us focusing on like event stuff, because that's what we make content on. And I think at times it really just depends on, number one, the person you're getting. Like if you're making an SMP full of event players, very likely it's not going to succeed for very long. I think it's just because overall there's not a plan. because they go on in and do it, and they're not promoting enough on social media and stuff. They're not getting like viewers active and wanting more stuff like that, essentially.
Yeah, the viewership is a great point. If you have a community of people who just are watching the SMP, not necessarily on the SMP, that encourages the players, I think, to show up more because they're like, oh, my chat loves this. We got to go again.
Yeah. I do hope it's something one day to where we can like have little chat interactions. Like there's like an incentive for chat on stream, possibly, just because there's been some like at times, once again, event players, it's to where we kind of have to start back at square one with SMPs because we have gained such a big community on like doing, I'm doing Sky Battle, for example. Sky Battle viewers want to join us and kill us, and that's why they're a part of that stream and want to join in. And so it's hard when you have to like start from the very beginning. When it's like an SMP, people aren't able to join. People are just able to interact with you and chat and nothing else. So I'm hoping one day we can kind of find a way to intercept with that. I don't know. Tobo's doing a new thing to like with servers. It's like for free. So I'm hoping maybe we can try something with that for the future, and we can have like chat join in or something, doing something fun with it. Because I'll be honest, I'm never gonna be a part of a viewer SMP. I'm never gonna host a viewer SMP either, just because I just don't know who's going to join it.
That kind of relates back to the like that other question where I said like when people go to try to open up your SMP and they only see like one person on, that's a big thing on why that like things become so inactive so quickly, is because if there's only ever like one person on, or like not even a person on, the people will like open it up, see there's nobody on, and go, I don't want to play like that right now, and go move on to another SMP. Which that also goes back to the like inviting friends and having a tight-knit group of friends to start out with will keep it active for a while. I understand that it's really hard to keep a bunch of people active for long amounts of time because some people really love the early grind of a game. Some people gain their armor and then kind of just sit there and like, oh, I got all my netherite armor, what am I supposed to do now? You have to gauge like who's coming into the SMP, trying to get like people who are active. And I understand like, you know, there's lives, people have to go do their jobs, you know, all of these different things, but there is that like thing where if somebody opens it up and they see that there's nobody on, they're just not going to join.
You're right, that does circle back to the question before where it's the whole point of multiplayer is playing with multiple people.
If they wanted to play single player, they'd just open up a hardcore, a single player world.
Exactly.
And I think that's why it gets, they become so inactive or lose members, is because of, like just seeing the zero and going, nope, never mind, I don't want to play no more.
Yeah, and who knows how many people are saying that around the same time, And if all of them had just logged on.
I think what also helps keep it active too is also not just playing Minecraft. There are people in servers who have like other interests, and if the admins or all of the other players have similar interests, they'll eventually come back to Minecraft, as long as they're the vibes and the friendships have to be there. And I think that's like a really big thing about it, is that if you don't just like kind of force people on as well, they'll also eventually come back. So like a lot of servers I know, they do like Jackbox, some servers do Lethal like once a week. So it's like you also don't get burnt out and get bored of Minecraft. Is just like kind of breaking it up a little. So maybe hosting like a couple of like once a week, different game events is like a great idea to help keep it active and keep everybody in good spirits as well.
There's no one fits all answer to why SMPs lose members. On one hand, obviously, as I mentioned priorly, I think it has to do with the lack of chemistry or the lack of interest by the admin team and the owner specifically. I am referring to a specific case of a server that I was in where the owner lost interest, or like they didn't show up for the first 3 months of the server being open, and like it just killed the server, because obviously you cannot be promising, oh yeah, no, we're gonna be doing events and not do events. or like have only your admins overwork themselves to be able to run these events. There's also other situations where I've seen servers lose members just because obviously early stage game is the most fun for the most part, because it has the adrenaline, it has the excitement, and after a few weeks when everyone has netherite and everyone's stacked, sort of what's the point of me continuing to play when everything, the challenge is no longer there. That's when the events and the activities become important, because once people are settled and they are ready and they have everything like to start actually doing fun stuff, it's hard to keep the motivation up, you know?
On a server, once you completed the actual Minecraft goals, there still need to be other goals for that individual server.
Yeah.
Or then we just circle back to the whole, why don't I make a solo world?
You gotta have something that you want to reach for you to be able to want to keep going. Of course, there's always there's incentives. That's what it is. It's an incentive. What incentivizes me to create content in this specific place and not just move to my own solo world? What makes it special? Is it the people? Is it the challenges? Is it the events? Is it specific materials or the mod pack? Yeah, no. And also, again, over inviting people. I cannot stress this enough. I'm talking like, if you are an SMP owner, please do not over invite people. I know having a wide cast sounds awesome, but if you do not know the 50 people that you're inviting, and if you do not know if they could get along with each other because they're completely random and maybe they know 1 or 2 people inside of that 50 people person cast, just lower it to like 15 or like 20, where there's a smaller, tighter community and people don't need to be like meeting too many, because we're streamers, okay? We would be out doing other things. You know, if we wanted to go and meet 100 people, we would be at a party, you know, playing Minecraft. Just don't over invite people. I know it sounds fun, I know it's entertaining, but at least at first, please do not over invite people. Don't invite people who you do not know if they will be active and committed to your projects.
One of my answers actually ties into what you said previously, how people can spend, like, they can play the game for like 12 hours and get everything, do everything, you know, every achievement, every boss fight, everything just done. Because after that, then what's the point of playing? There's no final boss to fight, you already did that. There's no build that you want to do because you already did that. So I think it's, you know, if people pace themselves, then it helps them sort of stay active longer. But if you do everything, you know, in one afternoon, there's no point in logging in the next day. Time and life, you know, are really big factors of why people don't play. Like, personally for me, if someone says, you know, hey, look, I want to play with you, we have to figure out a specific day because they have a job or I have a job, you know, we have dates that we can't do, and it just kind of, eventually we either stop playing it so much to the point where we either forget about it or we just don't have the time.
It's difficult to balance, especially when you have a large amount of players on a server. But I agree with you that having something more to do, something that makes it impossible to complete in the first day, that can be super useful to prevent servers from becoming inactive.
I have an answer to this one, and it will sound like a Reaper SMP call out. Matt, I love you. A lot of SMPs tend to become inactive. I think it starts at the management level, because players and members will be enthusiastic about what they're doing for as long as you kind of give them a space to be enthusiastic. Like, even applicants, they'll be excited. I know after me and Major applied to Reaper, I was excited talking about our characters before we'd even been accepted. I guess we applied at different times. I was excited about my character, and then I was excited about Major's potential for a character. But I do think it starts at a management level. Servers, especially with kind of a larger mod team or like a group of people kind of running it who have the say in what goes on, kind of leads into a disorganization and indecision, and that kind of peters out really quick. I know for Reaper SMP, again, love you, Matt, but he knows it was an issue last season. Me and Major are part of the lore team, and so that's where I'm coming from here. We had for season 3, 5 or 6 of us, I think, on a lore team, but it was a team, so there was no like team leader, I guess. It was just kind of a group of us talking about what could be happening. So there are a lot of ideas all the time, but nobody was like doing a surefire, like, yes, let's do this and this is how we're going to do it. It was just kind of like a, hey guys, is this cool? Like, would that be cool? That kind of indecision turns into no decision, and so nothing really happens. What happened with Reaper, a lot of people ended up taking it upon themselves to kind of do their own server-wide lore, which is a great idea in theory. I think if the people up top aren't doing anything, but you want to be excited about the server that you're on, you should just do the things on the server that you like. But with that disorganization and kind of like not communicating, I think is also a problem on bigger servers. Nobody really knew what was going on or how to participate or like the right way to play was, per se. A lot of people just kind of stopped playing or stopped participating in lore just because they had no idea what was happening and no one was really doing anything. So I think, not even just from a lore perspective, but just from an in general perspective, the disorganization in SMPs, especially because a lot of them are kind of like amateur run, like no shade, but a lot of people don't have like a lot of management experience or SMP experience. When they start an SMP, it just falls into that really quick.
I can actually throw my hat in the ring as an ex-server owner. I definitely agree with Arid on that stance. It's definitely like kind of a management thing that causes servers to putter out. I know that it's also just like people get busy and people grow up and there's not always time for Minecraft. I understand that for sure. Because I'm busy and I don't always have time for Minecraft. There is definitely a management part of that. And I know from my own server, a lot of that was just based on like not having set roles for people and staff, which caused like a few disagreements with someone wanting to go this way and someone wanting to go this way. And it ended up just not branching out because there was a lot of different ideas being thrown out. This is also me making up for my Reaper SMP call out. Adding like a set like lore leader for that definitely helped a lot. When there's a lot of different ideas happening but nobody wants to lock into one, I feel like that's something that causes servers to become inactive because like not everyone wants to stick it out for the long haul. If there's nothing happening now, that's a lot of people just being like, oh, this server's boring now, and then not playing on it anymore. I know this because I was this. There's a lot of people who just will apply to a bunch of SMPs all at once, just hoping they'll get into one. Then they'll get accepted to like 3 or 4, maybe even 5.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to manage all that different Minecraft. Like, there's just not enough time in the day to play on 5 different SMPs all the time. So I feel like a lot of people, specifically people who do that, will like lock into one server and be committed to that one, which is not exactly a problem, but I feel like it is definitely a factor in that regard.
I've been on a few SMPs, and obviously I'm not going to name names, but there was quite a few of them where it was like, okay, go have fun, and you would just meet them on Minecraft, and they wouldn't have voice mods in the Minecraft. So then it was like, well, I'm meeting you guys in Minecraft, but then that's it. Like, I'm not speaking to you in the Discord, I'm not speaking to you outside of this, like, we don't interact on, like, Twitter or anywhere. The only time I'm seeing you is on the game, and then I'm like, well, it's not we're not communicating in any way, we're just kind of stood in front of each other, crouching up and down because it's Minecraft, like, and I feel like that was my main reason that I ended up leaving a few servers that I was on, because I was like, I like playing on SMPs because I like being able to hang out with people, and if I'm not getting that opportunity, lore aside, if I'm not getting the opportunity to meet people and hang out, I'm not going to really want to be there, and I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, if you're not interacting with people, if the part of multiplayer isn't there, you might as well go make a solo world.
Exactly. Like, if I'm joining a server and I know one person on it, and I leave it in, like, say a year, and I still only know one person on it, I could have just made a solo world. Or I could have just made a world with that one person. Like, the whole reason I joined SMPs to begin with was to meet new people and, like, get to know new people online, because I'd never really done that. Like, this was never something that I did. So my whole reason for joining SMPs was like, okay, I want to meet new people, and I want to, like, hang out with people. and meet the online people online, because I hadn't done that. I was like in my own little bubble for so long, and I was like, I want to expand that. And if I'm not gonna get to meet new people, I'm like, well, why am I here? And a lot of applications, I feel like, ask you like, oh, do you get on with a wide range of people? And it's like, why would you ask that if I'm then not going to get to hang out with these people? But that was my main reason for leaving, and I think that's one of the big reasons why SMPs lose members quite quickly, is because it's like you're only hanging out with them in the game for like 30 minutes at minimum to like 5 hours, let's say, and then that's it. You're not speaking outside of that. It kind of goes back to the point I made of like, they need more things off of Minecraft as well, which Jinkies does. Like, I met so many people, like I never would have met half of the people because of time zones, but because we had that extra things, I got to meet these people. SMPs need to do more things off of Minecraft to keep members so that they can actually hang out and get to know people.
Even if you meet someone in Minecraft, you're not necessarily going to be brave enough to ask them to hang out outside of Minecraft. So it's nice when a server provides that for you, because if you play Minecraft together and the server encourages you to play another game together or watch a movie together, whatever, you might then become friends and be more comfortable being like, hey, let's hang out outside the server.
Exactly. And SMP shouldn't just be you're playing on Minecraft. It should be you play on Minecraft, but you get to meet these people, and then maybe you'll find interest in other games.
It's really two-pronged. Is that like the word for it? It's like I think it's both the server owners, operators, and the players. Like my dad runs a Minecraft server and stuff, and has for a long time, and so I've seen him like go through a lot of the process and a lot of the things, and I think if I didn't have that, I would also not realize how much work goes into managing a server. Because I do think like a lot of people are like, let's just make an SMP, and it's like, well, you know, it's not like it's all fun and stuff, but it's like a lot of work. It's really stressful, and managing something is like a huge ongoing process. It's like a rough job. Like many content creators just feel like they just get excited, and I love that energy, but sometimes I think it's like there's so much behind the scenes that goes on, and you can't like rush that process, and you can't be like, let's just make it happen. I didn't mention this earlier, I forgot, but like adding things like core protect and everything, and just making sure that like the server is safe and like you know, you just gotta act like it's a public server, because otherwise I think early on lots of players can feel like things are going wrong, and early on, like if a couple of problems happen, I find it's a lot more likely that players just stop playing as much, because it's like there's a lot going on and you don't know when it's fixed, and it just gets a bit stressful. Yeah, I don't know, the more time I see a SMP putting into the pre-SMP stuff, the more confident I feel that, like, you know, I can play this SMP for a long time. Like I said, I absolutely think it's amazing. The branding and the social media presence and like all of that, the events and everything that SMPs do, I think those really help. And when an SMP doesn't find that space of like that, it often doesn't help their like activity. I think the social media stuff and everything is really important, unfortunately. I don't know if I feel like that should be important, but it feels like the SMPs I see succeed and have active players have that kind of, you know, the Twitter or the, you know, Blue Sky presence like really well, and the branding and everything. I've found more recently that the players are also very much at fault sometimes, because so I can only be on like 2 servers at most personally. I know that's different for a lot of people, but I cannot juggle that many servers. I'm currently on 2 SMPs actively, and I mostly only play one. The other one I'm trying to get back into and actually play it. But you know, the people who are on like 8 SMPs, I don't know how you do it. I have a feeling a lot of people are neglecting some of their SMPs. I just think it's important to consider how much work, some server owners put in. And you can apply to like 10 different SMPs, sure. But if you get into all of those 10, don't just accept them. Like, don't take up a spot for someone. Like, I find people also just are like, oh, I'm in these 4 SMPs, and then a new SMP comes out and they jump to that one. And it's like people are like, yeah, I'll play an SMP for a couple of weeks, a month maybe, and then they'll just jump like to the next one. It's like you can spend more time on it. Like you can be there for longer. I don't know. It sometimes feels like it almost feels like our attention spans are like are just like, I mean, obviously our attention spans are worse nowadays and everything, but like it feels like that's a part of the problem, and we're just jumping from one to the other, or like just not giving the proper respect to, I think, server owners that they deserve.
Are there any SMPs you want to shout out in this video?
I want to shout out Lumamon. It is opening today, actually. The second season of Lumamon is opening today. I want to shout out Lumamon because it's made by the lovely Lumastar. Luma has spent a good while on this SMP. It is her baby, and the first season went spectacular. I can't talk about the other ones I'm in because wait, yes I can. Arcadia is coming out soon. I'm gonna be a cute little side character named Cobb, and I'm not giving any more information because they're supposed to be silly.
Shout out to my boy, Overtime SMP. SMP, as I mentioned, FD and I do own, and it's very fun. Ken is also a part of it, so shout out to Ken. Shout out to 3 SMP event things. Like Luck Grind, which Kangov hosts. There's also the 24-hour SMP hosted by Lackey. 80 plus creators raised money for charity while also just getting every achievement in Blazing Caves. There was lore that was included as well, and then at the end there was like a very big event. To the 3rd event SMP called the Challengers SMP. The Challengers SMP also goes for Blazing Caves, but it is in hardcore mode. And I highly recommend that people who are a part of SMPs and want to dive a little bit more into the event community definitely look into those 3 because they're a blast and the community is fun. The players are very fun. I am very biased though, so take that with what you will.
Some SMPs that I've been really into recently has been Overtime SMP, Mafia Craft SMP, Silly SMP, and then there's one more. Bloomcraft. Bloomcraft is the last one.
Shout out to No Man's Land because it's a server made by Artemis Ablaze, as the name suggests. No Men Allowed, and it's a beautiful tribute to Women's History Month. So shout out to Art, you're doing incredible, honey. Shout out to Lumamon. I'm having so much fun on Lumamon. I will shout it out just because it gave me like a big push at the in the moment that it happened. KSMP. Of course, shout out to Wanderers, which is actually not a multiplayer server for content creators, but a community server that was created by Little Sunmin, Raxin Live, and Cosmic Mass, and they've done an incredible job at managing that community SMP. I think it's always super interesting.
Oh, wow. There's 2 that come to mind. Jinkies. Okay. Been playing on that for a while. Got several videos. I think I have like 10 in the backlogs. Got added them. And then Moist, the public Moist SMP, which recently just got a couple changes.
Reaper SMP, I think, is big one, number 1, numero uno. And also Jinkies SMP, numero uno, tied. Reaper SMP and Major are both part of the, I think, mod team now. And so that's how you, viewer, can guarantee that we're getting some great content for Season 4. Only us sponsored stamp of approval. A second, more minuscule shout out to Only SMP, the Minecraft server with only me and Major on it.
Specifically for Reaper SMP, like, you can tell from us, we have the inside scoop. No spoilers, but this season is going to be really great. Everybody in the lore team and the staff team overall is like a lot more committed this season, and I'm definitely way more committed.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but
Nah, I could go either way.
but it really is going to be a great season. I'm so excited.
I feel like the answer's pretty obvious, but obviously the Jinkies SMP, that and the Elementals SMP, like they were the two where I met so many cool people. And I definitely would not be friends with half of these people if it wasn't for these.
100% overtime SMP, my beloved. It's so fun. It's so good. Also, Life and You, great time. It's over now, but it was a really good SMP. Catseal put a lot of work into it, and everyone in there is lovely. Both of those servers I have found such a community in, and it has been genuinely so amazing and just has been so nice. I don't know, like it's been, those two have been like pretty much perfection to me. To me they are perfect.